Hey, Dr. Nicola here, and I just got off the phone call with a patient who was moving through a lot of big emotions, and it inspired me to just hop on and talk about why the fuck would we ever want to touch into more pain? Most of us spend the vast majority of our life distracting, avoiding, pushing away, pretending, compensating, analyzing, doing anything that we can, numbing out, besides actually touching into what's here. And that was part of this gentleman's question of like, why would I want to feel into this? I called you because I want you to help me stop crying. And the reason, what I shared with him is what I want to share with you, because this is so, so, so important. The reason we want to touch into not just our pain, but our grief, our anger, our joy, our wonder, our appreciation, our peace, our sadness, our sorrow, all of the emotions, we want to touch into that, because as soon as we allow ourselves to become present, to fully present, and really live the experience of what's here, is exactly when we allow those emotions to be in our sphere. They are allowed to move rather than getting smushed or squashed or repressed or boxed or whatever we do. And when we can allow those emotions to be present and then they're allowed to move, then they find their own place and they integrate into the system. And a lot of times that integration allows the dissolution of those emotions, which allows us to transcend the felt experience or the experience that the mind is making up that we're having, that this is bad or wrong, or we need to not have less of that, or we need to have more of that. And really it allows us to experience true peace, because now we're moving out of good, bad, right, wrong, this whole question of duality, and we're moving into a higher vibrational frequency of neutrality, of this is just what's here, and I can be with this too. All I need to do is presence this with my heart, really allow myself to feel it fully, and that allows it to move in our system. And this is what is causing us suffering, is that these things that we've been afraid of or scared of or ashamed of, that we've boxed away and we haven't wanted to look at, they are still living within our consciousness because they haven't been fully present. It's like a little kid who wants your attention. It's like, hey, 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 and they keep on bothering you until all of a sudden something crashes and you're like, what? And it's like, well, I got your attention now, didn't I? And so our lived experiences that haven't been fully processed are the same thing. And so what we do, this is how we heal, but we heal in order to transcend and have more enjoyment and engagement in the world around us, no matter what's coming. When we move from, I don't like this, or I really like that, and I want more of that, we're constantly chasing the dragon. We're constantly trying to figure out, where do we go next? Or how do I make more of this happen? How do I make less of this happen? It becomes this constant judgment, and there's a rightness and a wrongness of ourselves, of others, that we just get trapped in these stories of mass consciousness. So this is the way to free yourself from this group think that so many of us have been stuck in for so long, and there's so many of us that can feel that this is no longer serving us, and we are ready to break free and break beyond, so that we can actually use our highest consciousness to co-create more and more and more of not only what we want. That's not really what it's about. It's really about co-creating from this place of divine inspiration and being in awe and wonder of whatever is coming out without being attached to a certain outcome. So that is why we want to learn how to feel safe enough. And this is important, right? Because the mind will be like, don't touch that. That's too deep. That's too scary. You don't have the resources to deal with this. And a lot of times these things are things from our childhood. And the truth is, as a kid, we maybe didn't have the resources to handle that inside of us, or maybe the adults in the room weren't able to help us navigate something big. And so we learned that having those big feelings was wrong or bad or scary or caused difficulty or whatever, and that we need to people please or just reassure everybody else. But the truth is that that's not your job. And the only thing that you can do is to be with and tend to all that is living within you so that you can actually be free of it and you don't have to keep on repeating it. The only way out is through. And there's, two paths of suffering. One is the path of suffering that leads to more suffering, and the other is the path of suffering that leads to the freedom from suffering. And when we talk about the word suffering, what I mean is, I think what we're really talking about here is fully feeling all of what's here. So my invitation to you is check in. Where have you been avoiding or not wanting to fully feel what's here? Where have you been holding yourself or another in judgment as a defense mechanism from being with what's being triggered within you? It's so easy to point out towards somebody else and be like, well, that's their problem, or that's because they're doing X, Y, and Z. And we can really we can get into gossip and storytelling and criticizing and all these things. But anyway, I have so much to say about this. So if you want to dive a little deeper, I've got monthly online meetings called memberships that we meet and talk about these things in a really deep way. If you are feeling, and I can't tell you enough how being in a group setting like that and hearing other people's stories, we really develop this like spaciousness and compassion as we're listening to somebody else. And through that process, we can often remember or realize that, oh wow, that spaciousness and compassion is available here for me too. So if you're interested, please join me in the memberships. We have one coming up actually tomorrow, Friday, August 30th, and then we have another one Monday, September 16th. So hope to see you there. Please ask me questions. I am here to do this. This is what I love to do with people all over the globe. So thanks again for being here, and I'll talk to you next time.